So we had a caller call in from Oklahoma, and he basically was talking like the sky was falling. Recruits are leaving. Bob Stoops is here. I mean, there's an article on The Athletic today by one of your colleagues talking about players not even knowing if they're practicing this week or what's going on, and that this fan was afraid that this is the end of the Oklahoma run or brand. And I try to counsel him against the sky falling, but what is your boots on the ground sense of what is happening in Oklahoma today and the steps forward?
I think the part that's probably troubling, especially for fans like that, is in this day and age, because of the transfer portal, guys can leave without penalty. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it's like you have Caleb Williams, who's a budding star at quarterback. Mm-hmm. We know Spencer Rattler is already in the portal. We expected him. That's not surprising. But does Caleb Williams eventually decide he wants to continue playing for Lincoln Riley at USC? He's spent a bunch of time out here in his quarterback development stuff. So it's like, do some of those guys decide, hey, we want to go there too? We expect a big portion of the Oklahoma the staff to also join him at USC. So I can see why it's really concerning for fans who are looking like, where do we go from here? Because as you look, and I did a story on this morning for The Athletic on who are they going to get? Yep. Matt Campbell's a really, really good coach at Iowa State. He's a 3-time Big 12 Coach of the Year. He's beaten Lincoln Riley twice and almost beat him a third time, where in Norman, I think they lost by 1 point. He's really good. He was a guy USC was really looking hard at before Lincoln Riley jumped at this offer. So does Oklahoma say, hey, we'd love to have Matt Campbell. We feel like he'd be a great fit here. I think that would play probably pretty well. After you get past that, it was like, Barry Switzer is obviously the godfather of Oklahoma football. I know he really likes Mike Leach, a former assistant to Bob Stoops. Do they try to bring Leach back? Do they try to hire Lane? The other thing is the AD there, who's a really good AD. He's made 2 major football hires. Lincoln Riley's one, Bob Stoops is the other. What do they both have in common? Offense guy, defense guy. They were both not head coaches. Maybe they try to hire, there's some good defensive coordinators out there. Maybe they make them be a first-time head coach. So I wouldn't completely think Oklahoma football has been really good for through a bunch of coaches. I think it'll still be really good. As you said, they have a lot of resources, but this is definitely a big pause for them right now.
Well, I mean, go ahead. You asked that question because there's the Southwest. There's the SWAC Coach of the Year.
Yeah. What
right?
about Deion?
What do you think?
You know what? You're right. He is the SWAC. I mean, look, credit to him. He has done he's done a very good job,
man. And he's out there. He's out there with his toe up in the air.
I don't know if he's the fit that they want necessarily. I don't know that he isn't, right? I
don't know if he'd want to do that.
I don't know if he'd want to do it. I mean, does he sit and wait and look and see what the landscape is? I mean, I don't know. He is definitely a wild card coaching hire. I don't know. I mean, I'll say this, and I work with some former NFL Network guys, and obviously you are one. Yeah. Deion as a head coach doesn't seem as far-fetched for a big college job as it did 2 months ago. That's all I'll say.
Well, and I'll say this too. I don't understand what the issue is against hiring him, other than the fact that he hasn't done it before. I mean, the guys, or a lot. I mean,
look, he's not a guy.
I honestly, Florida State should have jumped at the chance to get him when they did. And I understand that there's always these people like, well, he hasn't had this, he hasn't had that. He knows football, and he knows how to talk to kids, and he knows how to be passionate about it, and he knows how to drive passion as well, and he knows how to coach.
I think the challenge with that, and I think this is the challenge with NFL guys. I'm not saying that this is necessarily Deion,
right?
But I think one of the things is there's a lot of guys who were like, I don't want to recruit like that. Meaning it's recruiting is in the NFL, there is coaches doing, I'm not saying they don't work hard. They don't work 365 days a year to have to deal with recruiting. Right. And so I think the question was going to be, how committed are you going to be to being all in for all consuming stuff? Right. It's not to say he doesn't know football. It's certainly not to say he doesn't have connections or any of those things. Yeah. It's just recruiting is a beast in college football in terms of that. Look, he's done a really good job there. He deserves credit for that.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.